Hello, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a bit interesting. Viewer discretion, there's going to be some triggering moments perhaps, because this video is on a subject of both the Bible and the shadow. Now, when I say the shadow, what I'm referring to is Carl Jung's definition of a part of the unconscious, and how there's interpretations to kind of bridge kind of like psychology with religion in sort of a way in which probably not many people have heard or thought of. And that's what I have actually right in front of me. Right in front of me, I have my notebook. I got a whole writing, a couple pages here, just on what I've found out, through my own learnings and whatnot, but also with help and with just referencing other people, and of course, the Bible. And yeah, that's probably the little precept I can give you about what we're going to be talking about. Though it's a triggering concept. If you don't know about shadow work, it's particularly dark in nature. That's why I say triggering, and I kind of like smirk about it, because it is kind of like a difficult concept to do. It's a difficult dance to integrate into your being. I don't know if I'm the most qualified person to talk about Carl Jung's work in particular, but I know with experiences of myself and what's worked for me and what's helped me, like I've really transcended my own, just with like my own basic interpretations, and kind of like the Bible too has helped me a lot because it just resonates highly with me. But without further ado, I'm going to get started. You're just going to have to mind me as I pause for a quick second. I need a drink of something before we start reading. So, here we go. I'm just going to dive right in. Mind my gaze for most of this video. I'm going to have to be looking down at my notebook, so I won't really look at the camera that much, but yeah, just bear with me. So, the quote starts, "For he makes the sun to rise on the evil and on the good." And then another quote, "And sendeth the rain on the just and on the unjust." This is on page 781 of the Bible, but page 6, New Testament, Matthew 5:45. Okay, and then the starting of my writing goes like so. The shadow is a part of being, meaning evil is a part of being. Light and shadow go hand in hand. Our impulses and temptations are just as much a part of ourselves as the grace and love that we possess. It is foolish to cast your shadow away, just as it is foolish to throw your goodness away. It is far too common to see individuals tremble at their own capacity of evil. Many think because of their religion, status, creed, practices, and will, that the forces and the inclinations of evil should forthrightly dissipate from being. Simply put, that is not so. The sun rises on the evil and on the good. Or correction, the sun rises on the just. The sun rises on the evil and on the good. Okay. Sorry. I'm messing my quotes up here. The light of consciousness unimpededly shines, the locus of focus on evil tendencies and angelic tendencies. One will always be aware of both. One will always enact on both knowings. There is an attraction of good and an aversion of the bad. In both instances, actions are made. With actions come judgments. Yet why do we judge so harshly what comes from within? Does it not count to a sign of where you have judged too harshly? Let's dig deeper. We want to judge something to see whether it is true or it is false. This is done at court, yet we all marshal our own courts inside our own beings. There is a desire to know that our divinity is true. This would mean that we are the sentient beings we hear all about all too often. We want only our divinity to be true, but not our demonic tendencies. We wish that the evil inside of us to be false representations of being. We will go to great lengths to prove that we are not inherently evil. We will donate to charities, go to churches, visit psychiatrists, pray to God, talk to our families and friends about it, post on social media about it, journal it, blog it. After all such efforts, we will find out that the evil will inevitably come back, because it is too a true representation of being. The shadow is just as much a part of ourselves as the light. You do no diligence to yourself or others by fearing the shadow that lies within. Does not the fear prove that there is not something within to fear? Fear not of the shadow. In all actuality, it is merely just a part of your psyche. It is a process of viewing the world and yourself for what it is and is not. The shadow resembles where you do not look. If you only look at the light, then there is a force that shows you the dark. If you only look at the dark, then there is a force that shows you the light. In both instances, the shadow will show you what you do not consciously pay attention to. To further explain, think of thoughts/loops of the mind. If you have a peaceful mind full of tranquility and compassion, expect the shadow to come and try to shatter your state, because it will be showing you the chaos and selfishness you are not willing to pay attention to. One must at this point remember that the shadow is a servant of mind. Its evil is not meant to debilitate. Its evil is meant to inform the self of what you are forgetting. Or may I add, what you're avoiding. Many cannot grasp this concept, and is where confusion starts. People cannot accept evil into their beings, and they have to reject the shadow for its presence. They do not understand that no medication or no meditation will quell the dark voices within permanently. Like long run permanently, that's what I meant. Reason not with it either. The shadow embodies a force of unreason as well. For the shadow is whatever you are not. Yet you are the light. It would be best not to forget that. Don't forget that. One shall not fight or cast out a part of yourself. It is much better to listen and try to understand when evil comes about. It is then where you concentrate your conscious Let me restart this. It is then where you concentrate your conscious of recognizing what will exacerbate the shadow, evil tendencies, or to soften the blow, to speak loosely, of demonic tendencies. All of this comes from shining the sun, consciousness, on the good and the bad, on both. I want to just set aside and reiterate that. That's the best. Everyone has different judgments. So what you consider good and bad will affect what the shadow will bring about. Meaning resolution of frequent shadow occurrences is an individual conquest. No one can do the work for you. Though I'd like to add, people can help. The journey of shadow integration is strange at first. It's wise to remember you are not your every thought. You become the total sum of your thoughts. Sow the seeds of discovering the truth with an eye not blinded by righteous morality. And you may just discover how much the shadow hides behind the light that one so forthrightly projects. You will see just how just and unjust life being is. It's the individual's job to see both and act with a power stemming to make both one. A judge of sorts, rather an evolving human being, or one who is just suddenly remembering. So remember. This is the end. This is the end of the reading of my writing. Thank you for sticking along. It's kind of a long one. We're at 11 minutes right now. If you want to go now, please, just have a good day. And, I thank you for being here. But I want to continue a little yap session and just kind of like a talk about this to kind of like, I don't know, bring a different light to this whole writing. Let's do some shadow work right now. I mean, not really. It's not shadow work, but it's more just me being kosher and clear and straight up with you. At the time of writing this, I was in a strange shadow workspace myself. I always like to give context on when I write things because, like you imbue part of yourself when when you create something. And I think at this time, I was really heavily just going through my motions and going through the shadow work. And it's funny how true this still stands today. And reading this now, like a year later, pretty much, and it still holds, just good value because, like, it's true. Like, you have to be able to raise your consciousness, the sun, on the evil and on the good. Like, you have to see what's good in your life and what's bad in your life. And the more I did that and the more I got flexible with that, and the more that I held myself in the scope of, oh, maybe I'm doing wrong, maybe I'm being selfish in some way, or, any of the plethora of options that bad encompasses, right? Like, the more that I saw that, and then the more that I saw the good, I don't know. I just feel like that awareness itself is the value of bringing and bridging, these different parts of being together, or these different, maybe not parts of being, but parts of potential of what you could be doing, into being. Like if you look at yourself and you see how hedonistic and how utterly, like demonic you could be, like hugging your phone, addicted to dopamine triggers of, hitting a like button or maybe subscribing to OnlyFans. Like, if you pictured your worst self and then picture, say, your best self, the one who sacrifices his time to help others or, just takes out the freaking trash and does the dishes, right away without even a complaint. Like, when when you are able to hold an awareness that can like see all that, I feel your mind slowly tinkers and evolves that day by day by day by day by day by day. Your list of things that you think is good and bad evolves day by day by day by day. And it's like just like this ladder of everlasting climbing. And when I put it like that way, it seems kind of treacherous. Like, you climb all the time? Like, you have to climb all the time to do all this shadow work? And the answer is yes and no. You're climbing all the time because you have to. I mean, life goes on and on and on and on. You always have to deal with the phenomena of life, right? But being able to see your shadow for what it is truly and not hiding behind it, saying that it's something outside of you, saying that the bad that you do is something outside of you. Like, when you realize it's just a potential of what you could be doing, it kind of distills the power that evil actually has. And you almost disarm evil. You know what I mean? It's like if the devil before was holding, a big old katana, waving it over your head, and, it's like now it's just like you are the one with the katana. Because you realize it's just the way you held your perception of evil. The evil doesn't just come at you, it's parts of yourselves that you just don't necessarily have control of yet if you actually don't have control of it. If you're still, high in hedonistic compulsions. Perhaps you got some neuroses that people trigger so easily, and you just get bonked over the head with them all the time because people just drive you actually crazy, and which is a totally fair thing to do. That's okay. That's okay. Sorry for the interruption. A series of events have happened, and well, I had to pause the video. I know I was bantering about neuroses, and it's being okay being triggered, but I don't know. I don't know how to continue that, other than saying that shadow work should be something that you continue to work on. Working through these bad things is a good thing. Contrary to anyone will say, working through this bad, working through your own evil is a good thing because it brings more room and more space for this good to actually fulfill your life. And arguably, the more good you get, the more counteracting perhaps your triggering shadow will be. But at one point, everything mixes, in a perfect balance. And then your job is truly keeping a balance within your body and keeping a balance within who you are to be true. And who you are that you know to be true is a total sum of how you actually stand and be and breathe in a day. And that's important to realize after, like, what you're working towards, what the end goal would be, in a shadow work. It would be being good enough to sit with the bad and good enough to sit with the good, and to just plainly, speaking plainly, just not get triggered and just be okay and comfortable. And if you get triggered, to calm yourself down. And if you get too happy and something comes at you, to not harshly react to whatever evil is just trying to pick away at you. Because you realize how fleeting it is on that side. And then when you're on the other side, you realize how fleeting it is on the other side. It's like a dance. I learned to look at things as a dance. And the easier you can dance, and the more lighter your steps are, the more moves you can incorporate into your dance, the more joy and fun and happiness actually begins to be seen. It's not hidden. And that's a beautiful thing. It's probably good that the interruption happened earlier because I was going on a little bit of a tangent there. But I have a lot of, maybe not seen, but a lot of compassion and drive and straight up passion for the subject, because doing shadow work was really a crazy time in my life. Like, it transformed me into someone better, on a better timeline. If my timeline was, down here, I definitely raised it slowly, just kept on raising it, just slowly doing the shadow work. And I know I'm not the best person to talk about it. I'm not Carl Jung. I don't have went to school. I didn't study him in college and university. But maybe this is a hint, to watch more videos of him, perhaps. But what I do know is that the little time I took away, studying and learning and just piecing together the words, I originally intended for you to listen to, that all changed me in a grandiose scale. And if that can help you just see a little bit differently, just give your unconscious just a bit more clarity on, like, this is what this dance is, then I would be thrilled. I would be happy. I would be overjoyous if I could just give you that 1% betterness. Because, yeah, I don't know. What I do know is that I thank you for being here, sticking around to the end of the video in my strange rant in which I did. I tend to like to yap, but I don't feel like it's good content for YouTube. I don't feel like it's good for me either, because I want to give you the most. I want to give you like the real, like the transformative stuff, transformative pieces. But sometimes the small things are the most transformative in themselves. Not that my rants are any small thing, but thank you. Have a good day. I don't know. Remember to go outside. Make a cup of tea. Tea's good. Um, just chill. Be yourself. Have fun. I'll see you next time.